Hello everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel. Okay, so this will be the very first tutorial I'll be posting up on my YouTube channel, and it's all about this beautiful cupcake dress. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. So let's just go straight to the tutorial. So these are the materials needed for the dress. So I have my half yard of Mikado fabric. It's a lush fabric. Then I have my ad net. It's a soft ad net. You can get this in the market. I have my satin fabric that I'll be using for the lining. Then I have this very beautiful trimming, and finally my veil net. This is quite hard. It's not a soft tissue net, and it's 15 yards that I'm using for the style. So these are the measurements needed. We have 8 for the shoulder, bust 20, waist 20, and half length of 8.5, knee length of 15 or 16. Then the waist to knee of 8 and the armhole depth of 4 inches. So these are the measurements I will use for this outfit. Okay, so I'll start by putting down my starting point line. As you can see, I'm using my biro to draft so that you will see everything I'm doing. Yes, so this is my starting point line that would also serve as my shoulder line. So just follow me. Okay, yes. So the next thing I will do is to put down my armhole depth. That's 4 inches. Next thing I will do, I think my camera shifted a bit at this point. So next thing I will do, I would square that line across. I would also mark my waist length and add allowance to it. So that's what I'm doing here. So I'm adding my waist length of 8.5 and I'm adding 0.5 inch allowance to this. So I'm squaring it out for you to see. So that would be my that's my armhole length. Sorry, that would also serve as my bust line, or let's say chest line, because kids really don't have busts, and this is for a 1-year-old. Yes, so that's my waistline and my allowance. So that's what I need for my vertical measurement. So I'm just writing it out so I remember what line it is. So the next thing I will do is to come back to my shoulder. I'll divide my shoulder into 2. So that's 8 divided by 2, that's 4. That's 8 divided by 2. That's for the shoulder, as you can see. The next thing is I would come down to my armhole line and also mark the same value. So I'm dividing that same 8 divided by 2. I'm marking the same value of my armhole line and I'm connecting it with a ruler, as you can see, a ruler. Okay, so I'm going to come down for my shoulder slant by one thing you should first of all see is the total neck width is 3.5. 3.5 divided by 2 is 1.25. So that's what I'm putting down. Total neck width is 3.5. I'll divide that value by 2 to give me 1.25. So I'll come back to my shoulder line at the center and mark 1.25. So that's on 4. By the time we take it out, it's going to give us 3.5. And I'm going to come down by about 2.5 also for my neck depth for a child. 2.5 is actually very okay for the neck depth. So that is what I am doing. Then I connect it. Before I connect it, I will come down to my my shoulder line and come down by ½ inch for the shoulder slant. Then I go back to connect my neck, as you can see. Yes, so I'm connecting my neck. That's 2.5. Once I do that, I like to label a lot so that I see everything I'm doing. Once I do that, I will connect my shoulder line to my neckline. That's 0.5. Then I look at what I have left and I locate the middle of that, and I come in by about ½ inch. Now I'm trying to draw my armhole curve, but I'm going to come in by about ½ inch, as you can see, and I'll connect it back to my bust line. But just before I do that, I like to mark my bust measurement first before I draw the final armhole curve. So that will just give me a way to know exactly where I want to stop my armhole curve, so I don't just assume. So my bust is 20 divided by 4, that's 5 inch. So I add 1 or 1.5 to that. Yes, so I add to that. Now I actually added to this bust measurement in particular because I didn't want a cloth that would be so tight. Now the size chart gave me 20 inches, but I added about 1 inch to this, so the cloth is free a bit on the baby. So in addition to that, I added 1 inch sewing allowance to this outfit, 1 inch sewing allowance to it, so it's free. Okay, now we have done that, so I've added that. So allowance has been added to the side and to the lower part of my outfit. Allowance has been added to it. I'm just marking out the allowance so that you see that there's an allowance on the dress. That's why I'm marking this line also. Okay, once I do that, I come back to my shoulder. I don't really add allowance to the neckline, but I come back to my shoulder line and add half-inch allowance. That is what I'm trying to take up. I add 0.5 to the shoulder line, and I mark. Then most times I like to add 0.25 to the armhole, not more than 0.25 to the armhole line. And this dress is going to have a very tiny cap sleeve, so I'm going to just add 0.25 to the armhole line. Yes, so that is what I do. Yeah, so I'm just adding it gradually at this point, so I make no errors to my allowance. So once I do that, I would connect it. I'm just using my free hand at this point to connect it. I'm sorry, I'm taking my time so that you'd all see what I'm doing and you'll be able to understand the drafting. Although the drafting process of a child's dress is super simple, like it's like a walk in the park. You can close your eyes and just I'm doing it on paper so that you also see. So once I do that, I mark my grain line. I'm marking a vertical grain line just to show the direction of where I'll cut my fabric. Maybe in another video I would explain to you how to cut different kinds of fabrics and understanding your grain lines, and maybe I'll do a video for that. I don't know yet. Okay, so once we are done, I label my center front, my side front SF, as you can see, so there is no mistake made. I'm just seeing now that part of the recording was off the camera, but I really hope you still understand what I'm trying to do here. So at this point, so this is it. I'm showing you in a better form. This is it. So once I do this, I'll transfer to another paper, and I want to draw out my back. And before I draw out my back, from the edge of my paper, I'll mark 1 inch away from the edge. That will serve now the front as my zip allowance. Now the front and back of a baby's dress is literally the same. They really don't need any shaping like an adult dress. So what I just do is I connect my 1 inch all the way up, then I trace. You see me tracing now my front pattern again at the back, but I'm not starting the tracing at the edge of the paper. I'm starting after the zip allowance I just marked. So I will connect it now. As you can see, I'm still using my biro, and that's for you to just see what I'm doing. Okay, so I will connect it straight down. So I'm just taking my time at this point, you know. Okay, so okay, yep. Okay, now that I've connected my lines, I'm just sort of marking out those points again, so I'm able to see what those points are. Then I don't want my back neckline. Okay, let me just square out the points. I'm just trying to retrace it so it's very clear. So now I've drawn my back. Yes, so I'm giving a deep V shape to my back. Yes, so okay. Yes, at this point, I realized I didn't want my back to go in as curved as the front, so I came out at the center by the half inch. I came out at the armhole side in front. I hope you understand what I just meant. And I sort of reconnected it. Now the back is not usually as in as the front around the chest area. That's why I did this. If you remember, we came in by half inch on the at the mid armhole area of the front. I'm just coming out again by half inch to just reshape that. I don't really want my back to go in like the front. So at this point, I'm just connecting my allowance line, marking it out for me to see, marking my vertical lines, my chest line, so that okay, I can see what I'm doing. Then this cloth has a sort of deep V back that goes in, so it can go as low as you want. It depends on what style you're trying to achieve. So I just came down a bit below the armhole line and connected. As you can see, I connected it back to my shoulder line, and once I did that, I just gave a straight line back to the zip allowance. Yes, I just did a straight thing to the zip allowance because we are going to be holding that in. Yes, so that's just it. Okay, at this point I realized I wanted to make some adjustment to the width of the neckline. I wanted it to be a bit wider, so I came in by half and redrafted this. I came in by half, redrafted, and I did the same thing to the front. I came in by half and also redrafted it at this point so that the neckline is a bit wide. Okay. I'm labeling and the back body is drawing my green lines like I did to the front, and I will be cutting it out. Very easy, right? Very, very simple. Showing you what it is. I like my drafting somewhere. It's just very neat. Okay, so now jokes apart. So this is it. My front and back bodies is done. Then the next thing I will do in a short while is to transfer it to fabric, and I'll be cutting this on both my fabric and my lining. Like I said earlier, I'm using the Mikado fabric for the bodies, but a satin fabric as the lining inside the dress. So you can use whatever you want. Yes, you can use any fabric of choice, you can use anything of choice to cut this out. So I've cut it here, as you can see. I've transferred it to fabric, and I'll do the same thing to my lining piece. Yeah, now at this point I want to make calculations uh for the flare. Now we are making a cupcake dress with a lot of tulle, so we need to properly calculate the value of how to cut a circular dress or a circle skirt, because that's where we'll be placing our tulle on. So the first thing I'll be doing, I don't know if you can see it, is to add 2 inches to my waist measurement. So 20 plus 2 is 22, and the 2 inches is for my zip allowance. So at the length of the circle skirt is, I'll be subtracting the length of the dress from the half length. So So length, waist to knee is 8 inches. My waist to knee is 8 inches for the baby. I'm adding 1.5 for the allowance, sewing allowance to this to give me 9.5. So the waist is 22 that I'm using. That's for the total waist, while the total length I'm using is 9.5. So for now, at this point, I was hoping to use the value. Okay, before I talk about that, the value of a full circle is 6.28. So I'll be dividing 22 by 6.28, and that will give me 3.2 thereabouts. So that's the value I'm going to use for the width of my circle. So now this is my fabric. That's for the skirt part, and I'm just going ahead to fold my fabric into 4, as you can see. So this is what I'll be using for the lining of the bodice, and also for the main fabric of the lower part, and also for the lining of the lower part, sorry. So this is 4 already. I'm cutting a full circle like I explained earlier. I'm cutting a full circle. Then I've gotten my value already to be, I've divided my value and I've got my value to be 3.5. So I'm just going ahead to mark 3.5 from the edge of my fabric round to get my full circle. So I'm just marking 3.5, as you can see. Yes, so once I mark my 3.5 from the edge of the circle, I'll go ahead to get the full length. I'll mark the full length of my flare. That's it. So I'm going ahead to mark the full length, which is I'm marking about 9.5. I said it earlier that the value we need is actually 8 inches, but we need an extra 1.5 inch for the allowance, because we'll be turning it up and we'll also be attaching the waist of this circle down to the upper bodice. So I need an half inch allowance up and 1 inch allowance down. That's why we added 1.5 allowance. So I've marked it. I hope you can see my markings with my chalk. I think it should be a bit clear. So once I do that, I'll go ahead to cut it out. Now, one thing you can do now, we actually need about 2 pieces of this. Yes, 2 pieces. One piece for the as the main piece of the fabric for the skirt, and another piece for the lining. Now you can either decide to do this for the lining also, or you can also decide to make the lining gathers. Now initially I cut a circle for my own style, but I later changed the lining piece to gathers, but I didn't get to show that part in this video. So I would just advise that you should just go ahead to cut 2 full circles. Please don't cut an half circle, just cut 2 full circles for your project. So go ahead to cut 2 of these. So I'm just sort of notching. Oh, my camera didn't capture them. I'm just sort of notching. Yeah, I'm just cutting out a side. I'm cutting out a side to open it up, exactly just like that. So this is our circle, though. Just cut 2 of that. The next thing I want to just show you is, now I'm adding this ad net. Now it's not very compulsory you add this ad net. It really makes no difference, but I don't know, I just sort of like to make my work complete. So you can just go ahead to add ad net to your lining. Now you're not adding ad net to your, now I said you have 2 pieces of your circle, so you're not adding ad net to the main piece. You're adding the veil net to the main piece, and you're adding this ad net to the lining. It's just like tiny bits of gathers here and there. Now you can decide to skip this part, but so I'm just going ahead to fold my ad net. I think I measured about 6 inches or thereabout. Okay, 7 inches. I'm just cutting a very long, I'm still going to cut this into 2, a very long piece that I can just gather around my lining piece. Yes, so that's all. So I'm just going to divide that into 2. So I have just about 7 inches each. So these ones I'm cutting, it will be joined together and pleated later on. Now I will show you how I did that. It will be pleated later on the lining piece. So next thing, I want to go ahead to cut. Now I could not really show all this, but what I just did in cut I had 15 yards of veil net. So what I just did here was I had to fold these and fold across the width of the fabric. Like I had to really fold it because of course 15 yards is very long, and it was on. I need like 6 inches of like of long how do I call it, long frills. I'm just cutting 6 inches, but I cannot spread it on the floor 15 yards, so I have to fold it till I had maybe just about 1 yard. As you can see, it looks like it's a lot of layers, and that's because the 15 yards has really been folded. So I folded and folded, and I'm able to conveniently cut what I need. So what I need is just 6 inches each of long strips that I'm going to gather on my skirt piece. So that is it. So as you can see, it's looking very full because it's folded. 15 yards is a lot of fabric, but then I didn't exactly finish the 15 yards, but I almost did. So I would just say you should just get maybe 14 to 15 yards and you'll be good. You can finish the whole of the 15 yards. All this is dependent on how full you want your cloud to be. So I'm just going ahead to cut another of it. So I'll keep cutting till I get every single thing I need. Yeah. So yeah, I've marked out the lines of that I want to attach my frills to. So I have 4 lines, 1 2 3 4 lines. I don't know if you can see, it's 2 inches each, but there'll be a last line on the waistline. So that's that about this. So right now I've gone ahead to attach crinoline to the edge of my fabric. Like, yes, so I want to believe you can attach a crinoline, so it just makes the lower part more bouncy, and it just makes it stand in a way that I like. So I just attached crinoline to the lower part of my circle. Yeah, I've gone ahead to, now I could not document all single presets, but I hope you understand. So after attaching my crinoline, I've started attaching my veil net to it. So as you can see, this is it. This is the part where the crinoline is that I've attached. So that's the crinoline, and I'm attaching my veil net towards the edge. That's for the first layer I'm attaching. Yes, so I've gone ahead to attach my veil net. I attached it on about 4-5, and I attached the last layer close to the waistline. Like, I want to let me just spread that out to show you. So that is it. Now I initially marked out 4 layers 2 inches apart, but the last one I attached it directly to the waist. So as you can see, I really spread it. It's so full. It's very full, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is so pretty already. So this is me just showing you the fullness. I didn't do anything special. I just squeezed with my hands, just pushed here and there. Yeah, this was what I was telling you about. Now I later changed this to gathers, but before then I had attached the ad net on it. So now I'll go ahead I'm going to open up my bodice, and I'll start attaching the lower parts. I'll join the lower parts to the upper part. Now for this gathered skirt, this old cloudy skirt, I'll attach it to the upper bodice. That's for the outer fabric where we have the Mikado fabric that I used. So I'll be attaching that. Then I'll be attaching the lining part to the lining parts of the upper bodice. So I'm just removing the patterns for you to see. I'm also, I like to do this. I like to mark out the wrong layers, or let's say the wrong side with chalk, so that I know which one is the right and wrong layer. So this is me just placing them on each other. Then I'll be joining it by 1 inch on both sides. Now at this point, I forgot to mention that now you can decide to put a belt. I'll be joining the shoulders also by 1/2 inch, so you can decide to also attach a belt to this dress. I later did. I attached a tiny belt to the side of the dress. Yes, so this is me just pinning. I'll do the same thing. I'll open up the lining piece and do the same thing. I'll join it first before I even go ahead to attach the two, that's the lower part. But for the lining, I'll be attaching the second circle I asked you to cut earlier. I'll be attaching that to the lining piece. So I hope you can see. I'm just pinning it like I did to the front part, then joining the shoulders also by ½ inch, joining the sides by 1 inch. So that is it. So I'm just showing you how I want to attach. So this is coming to this. Yes, this is coming to this. Wow, this one is coming over to the lining piece after I attach it. Okay, so yeah, I'm just showing you what I did. Now I'm sort of attaching a sleeve. Now this is about 4.75 and by about 6.5 inches. Now I just sort of just cut a random half circle. Let's call this an half circle. Now I didn't have any specific thing I did, but just follow the measurement I did. I just want something puffy that would stand on as the tiny cap sleeve for the baby, but this is when by the time it's pleated it will look very tiny. Okay, now we've gone ahead to join the sides, and like I told you earlier, I would be attaching a belt, which I have done. The tiny belt is to just hold it in place. The cloth is still going to have a very large bow at the back. So this is what the inside, the inside of the dress has been pressed open, and the lining piece has also been joined together. It's that simple. Just take it to your machine and voila. So these are the sleeves too. When I join I'm going to join the shoulders together separately. By the time I join it, I'll pleat it the way I'm pleating it and attach it, yes, to the shoulder. I'm going to just pleat it. It's just like tiny plates. I didn't exactly document this stage, so that's why I'm just showing you what to do. So you take it and just pleat it to it. That's after joining the main bodies. Then use the lining to turn it over to cover everything up. I hope you understand me. I really hope you do. Okay, so I'm going ahead to attach my tool to, you can decide to pin it at this point. You can decide to pin your tool piece to the upper part. So I would pin the upper part. Yes, I'll attach it to the lower skirt like that. Yes. Okay, so yeah, I'm just showing you what I did. Now I'm sort of attaching a sleeve. Now this is about 4.75 and by about 6.5 inches. Now I just sort of just cut a random half circle. Let's call this an half circle. Now I didn't have any specific thing I did, but just follow the measurement I did. I just want something puffy that would stand on the tiny cap sleeve for the baby, but this is when by the time it's pleated it will look very tiny. Okay, now we've gone ahead to join the sides, and like I told you earlier, I would be attaching the belt, which I have done. The tiny belt is to just hold it in place. The cloth is still going to have a very large bow at the back.
You go ahead to join the neckline.
So this is what the inside, the inside of the dress has been pressed open, and the lining piece has also been joined together. It's that simple. Just take it to your machine and voila. So these are the sleeves too.
The shoulders
when I join I'm going to join the shoulders together separately. By the time I join it, I'll pleat it the way I'm pleating it and attach it,
this is
yes,
what I was talking about.
Shoulder. I'm going to just pleat it. It's just like
to do that last.
Tiny plates.
Yes, I'll just close it from under the dress.
Exactly document this stage, so that's why I'm just showing you
together,
what to do. So you take it and just pleat it to it.
I'll push
that's after joining the main bodies. Then use the lining to turn it over to cover everything.
If there's a part that your hand cannot get to, you can decide to just stack it.
I really hope you do.
So that it's neat. So I'll just take it out like that.
So I'm going ahead to attach.
So if you're finding
my tool to, you can decide to pin it at this point. You can decide to pin your tool piece to the upper part.
So I will have a 1-inch zip allowance there.
The upper part.
So I'll attach my zip and use the lining piece to cover it up.
The lower skirt, like
I hope you get that. So there's a 1-inch zip allowance there. So let me just bring my zip to show you. So I'm going to just fix my zipper on that 1-inch allowance, zipper allowance spot at the back of the dress. So once I fix the 1-inch zipper, I'll take the lining piece and cover it up this way and sew it down on the zipper tip, so it's very neat and we have a seamless finish. I hope you get that. So I'll take it to my, so don't forget to close up the armhole, the 2 armholes from underneath the dress. Yes. Once I do that, I take it to my sewing machine and I'm going to attach all the pieces together and finish up the dress. Yes, so I've done that. I've closed everything up. Now I didn't exactly close all the parts of the armhole up. Yes, I didn't exactly close the armhole. Yes, as you can see, this is it. I had to pin some parts, and I pinned some parts so that they stay in place, but you can just use your needle and thread to finish it up. This is the final look of our bodies. I've attached my zip, I've attached my bow, and I also kept some tying. That this bow is detachable. Now don't mind the other dress, okay? That's for the mom. Maybe I'll do a pattern tutorial soon to show you how to make that dress. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.